You are welcome to Abrahamic Mission. Abrahamic Mission is a program that is designed to enlighten us about our two main religions. What do they do? How do they do it? The essence is not to compare and contrast, but for us to understand. My name is Imam Fuad Adeyemi, and joining me in the studio today is Pastor James Wuye, who is the co-director of Interfaith Mediation Center in Kaduna. Pastor, you are welcome.
Peace be with you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. I like that word. Thank you for having us. I will explain why the word us. I also want to welcome Imam Dr. Nurain Ashafa. He is also a co-director at Interfaith Mediation Center in Kaduna. Imam, you are welcome.
Assalamu alaikum, our viewers.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we will be discussing how to achieve forgiveness. And as earlier mentioned, I said when I welcome Pastor James, he said, thank you for welcoming us. And perhaps how they achieve forgiveness, that is one of the resultant effects of forgiveness they've been able to achieve. And that is why I use the word us in appreciating we that we are also watching. But before we move down there, I will read some few messages which we have received. Incidentally, the last two which we have done were actually mainly on forgiveness, which perhaps we want to conclude or we still want to discuss about today. We have the executive governor of Plateau State, so do not be surprised if majority of messages that we'll be reading today will be based on the response from those who view the episode in which executive governor of Plateau State was featured. This man writes, he said, I really want to appreciate the governor of Plateau State for the courage and generosity he has towards humanity, for the peace program, and most of the setting up a team of researchers to help fight against COVID and other epidemics. I wish every governor would do such and make our government start investing into research because we have the resources. You know, the governor, I don't know whether you are aware, he set up a group of professors to be able to come out with a coronavirus vaccine, which they did. I don't know whether you are aware of that.
Made in Nigeria.
Made in Nigeria vaccine.
It's a very good one.
Like I told him that day, I said, some of us are afraid of using that vaccine, but because he has been able to give us the one that we can trust, so people like us, the moment government approve it, it will be the first one that we will rush to actually go and take. We thank him, yes, Your Excellency, for giving us hope, more hope in this country. This man said, good evening. My name is Honorable Aruna Yakubu Ndanusa from Ugwolawo in Ofu local government, Kogi State. Right Honorable Simon Lalong shall keep it up. Is a man of peacemaker. Others should learn from him. He is a man of vision and development. And I say, good day, presenter. You are a godsend on this program. Bringing in the governor and the two gentlemen, incidentally these two gentlemen are also here, the pastor and imam, for opening and exposes our eyes, the eyes of Nigerian, which we claim to be very religious country, that every other country in the continent, which we know nothing, turning our holy books upside down, killing ourselves in the name of religion. Sorry, sir. Which of the country in the continent are now killing themselves because of mode of worship, if not Nigerians? No country progresses and develops without peace. Our Peters. This program is fantastic because it enlightens people, Muslim and Christian. They are one. He said, my name is Rahim Musliu from Oshogbo, Osun State.
I think that is the most important thing today. We are saying, how do we acknowledge the oneness in our diversity and be able to work towards the same common goal? And that is, I think that is the message what this man have just said. To say that we have one God,
yes,
and we have one Abraham as Muslim and Christian whom we attend to, the father of faith. And I think this is a strong constituency for us to reflect deeper.
That's true. We wish we have also the Jewish tradition. When you say Abraham,
I assure you,
you have a tripod like we have the tripod on the camera, holding the camera, standing well. Though the population is few in Nigeria, for now, I think that oneness on the tent that big tent of Abraham with the smaller rooms for the spouses is a thing to start working on.
Inshallah. I want to also assure you that I've met some few Jewish people in Nigeria, including the rabbi, the Chabad Nigeria we've met, and very soon they will also join us by God's grace. And
I look forward to when you have them, the rabbi,
yes,
my colleague and I together to really 3 legs talk about this thing.
I think I like that.
It would be a great thing to go.
Do you know
about.
the implication of what you are just saying? You are saying that whenever the Jewish rabbi want to come, that you will definitely come. That is what you are trying to say.
Invariably, yeah. By implication, yes.
So
we were happy to do that.
Happy to have the 3 of us.
Alhamdulillah.
And able to see that these are the children of Abraham by faith.
Okay. One of the things we discussed that day, I don't want to give the expose of it. I want people to we want to discuss who was Abraham himself.
That's right.
So a Christian will discuss who Abraham was, a Jew will discuss who the concept of Abraham to them, and a Muslim will discuss who that to them. And say, will now be left for us to actually understand where the name Abrahamic mission comes from.
That's right.
I think that would be a wonderful one that everybody would like to see. This man writes, Mr. Governor, you need our prayers. May Allah reward you with good. Your response to bring peace to Jos is like how Prophet Muhammad did it when he was to leave this. He assembled his followers for forgiveness. Please educate other leaders. Shalom, Abdurazak Atanda. And right said, the Bible says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. This program is giving us the truth. Anyone who hid under religion to commit evil should be treated as criminals. Governor Lalong, take note. Matthew, Osun State.
Thank you.
I think this one is hitting it on the nail. This one is saying, in fact, this governor is Abraham II. May the Almighty bless him from T. Odo Obolo Afo. Another man said, good evening, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State. The forgiveness and peace initiative idea you came up with is highly welcome. It's a highly welcome development. God is happy with you. Keep it up. God bless you and your government. From Evangelist Job Gogo from River State. This one say, good program, sirs. I really enjoy this program. I find it so difficult to move out on Sundays by this time in order not to miss this program. I wish such a program should be established in each city in Nigeria to bring strong union between Muslims and Christians in our country, Nigeria. I am Simon Aondo Asar Ichumbe from Makurdi, Benue State. I don't know how to pronounce your name well. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I think I will do better next time. This man says, you say Governor Simon Lalong deserves to be awarded ambassador for peace, not to Nigeria alone, but Africa at large. Wish Ebonyi State government could emulate this so we can go back to our mother's home. I don't understand this. And now I say, Your Excellency, sir, Governor of Plateau State, Right Honorable Simon Lalong, I salute you for your wisdom. I appreciate this talk. I wish other governors can borrow a new leaf from you. You are really a child of God. May God help you. May God help you the more and your group for giving peace a chance in your state. You are one family that pray and stays together. You shall live long. Amen.
That's a good prayer.
And then I say, I thank the organizer of this blissful program. May God Almighty bless you with more wisdom and knowledge to pilot it, the upcoming citizen or adults to learn. The program is a fruitful one. Right Honorable Simon Baku Lalong, I greet you honorably because you are indeed a rational role model and secret mentor. I wish all our leaders will inculcate such a humble attitude. Sir, you are a true definition of forgiveness. Jeremy from Port Harcourt.
And I think that's the key word. How do you become an epitome of forgiveness?
Good.
And I think that's the key word and entry into what he has done and what we'll be doing discussing now.
Okay.
That how do we become an epitome of forgiveness?
Okay.
We've seen one examples, but how does it cross across every state, every local government, and every community and every household?
Okay. Pastor, you
well articulated.
This man says, kudos to His Excellency for this wise initiative. I suggest that other governors should borrow this awesome idea and implement the same in their domain from Akinwoye Julius in Lagos. I think this is one thing from Osun and Oyo State. They should, I believe they are listening to this program.
Yes.
They should do more to read. There's two communities are fighting in Osun now, but I know His Excellency the governor will do something that perhaps we will get the professional to actually solve this problem. Likewise in Oyo State, because we cannot progress where there is crisis.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I feel this is a good message for the communities, both indigenous and settlers community, as citizens of this country, especially the case in Osun State and the case in Oyo State specifically, the Shasha model, to see how do we move forward and heal the wounds that is going on at this particular point in time, and not only in these two states but across the nation. But this specific reference to be a model of what happened in Plateau, can we build a model but contextualizing it in the context of Osun State, which have a long history of coexistence.
Yes,
long history of coexistence.
It surprises me actually that after the unfortunate challenge that happened in Modakeke, that people can get to that point of not letting go their pains. You know, they may say certain factors has generated this anger, but you know, anger that you didn't transform, you transfer. So if these communities will count the cost of that violence, they will not start it. So you better forgive instead of hitting back, because there is no winner, because all are losers.
Yes, during war.
During war. So eventually the community will be polarized. But the issue in that area is that one mother tongue, yet they can't let go their pains. I think we have to work on that. But apart from the North-South discourse, but this very one in Osun and Oyo, some of them are intra-ethnic challenge.
Yeah.
Where is the spirit of the brotherhood that we know in Southwest? In those days, we don't see fight there. We only think that we are in the North, a monopoly of violence. But I begin to see intra. It really pains my heart.
But there's one thing that I know Osun is doing. First and foremost, we have to give credit to Oni of Ife, the present Oni.
Yeah, he's a peace ambassador.
Is a peace,
practical, pragmatic. He doesn't sit down.
The king, he is a king.
Yeah.
Let me just put it that way. Because he has been involved in silent peace revolution.
Yeah.
Not just in Omole, Moreka and Ife, but the entire, not just entire Osun State.
The whole of the country, because we see him paying visits to different parts. And I think that's the kind of people we like to partner with, because these 27 years of our work as promoters of peace, reconciliation and forgiveness, we have not really seen, for me, that's talking for myself, a king who comes out that to push for everywhere. You see him in Rivers State, see him other states talking about this. But I'm glad that the Emir of Kano also have just started, the new Emir.
But His Eminence, that is the work he does every day.
Yes, the Eminence also, the Sultan regularly, every other day.
I used to call him secretly nomadic Sultan. Secretly, I don't always want him to hear. Because every time
he's on motion for this peace there. That's true. So you see, having a strong person like that in the entire country, like the Sultan, His Eminence, and the Oni of Ife strongly working, we need another strong pillar in the Southeast that is respected in that magnitude. The three of them can be the tripod for forgiveness in this country. We look forward to that.
Okay. Probably by God's grace, this program will actually work on it. Let His Eminence, the Oni of Ife, and another king from the south to come together, and probably they lead a kind of national forgiveness to see what we can do. One thing that I'm very sure of, I know His Eminence is watching this program, that I'm very sure. I'm not sure of that of Oni, but I know the people who would go and tell him that very soon we will want himself, His Eminence, and a king from the southeast and southeast.
Yes.
So that the three of them will come together, probably on this program. Absolutely. And it starts as a starting point where we'll be able to say we're one. His Eminence Sultan has done it among the Muslims.
Always.
I don't know. Let me even show there's a practical one which he did during the former president. He established what they call Hajj what do you call it, National Council of Ulama for Hajj.
Yes,
so he brought all the warring factor, all the groups that they can't see themselves face to face. They were together in one room and they were praying together. And from there we began to see peace.
Wow.
Many people didn't know how it happened.
Wow.
It was through that National Council of Ulama that was set up by His Eminence.
Yes, exactly.
So it took them to Saudi Arabia with the intention that they are performing Hajj. He now let them, you pray, you pray, you pray. And before you know it, the television, the entire world was booming it. Everybody said, this is our organ now. They are within this thing. And that is why you see this thing coming down. Nobody heard of anything.
Conflict is giving way.
It's giving way, but we have to give credit to His Eminence.
Yes.
We congratulate that effort seriously.
Yes. I think you now need to do that in Nigeria. Yeah. So I think with that, we now go on a very short break. We now come to practicalize, to actually discuss the achieving forgiveness, which we have actually started anyway. But it will be after this short break. Don't go away. We'll soon be back.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Yeah, welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Abrahamic Mission, and today we are discussing achieving forgiveness. And joining me in the studio is Imam Dr. Nurain Ashafa, the co-director, Interfaith Mediation Center in Kaduna. Imam, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. And also my dear brother, my dear friend, Pastor James Wuye, who is also the co-director at Interfaith Mediation Center here in Kaduna. Pastor, you are welcome.
Thank you, and peace be with you all.
Thank you so much. Amen, amen, and amen. Because that is what we need mainly now. We will be discussing achieving forgiveness. For us, we know there is a crisis unless we are deceiving ourselves. In the north, in the south, in the east, in the central, in the west, everywhere. What do we do? Or what are those things that we can see that actually are the things that led us to this crisis, to the level where we are? What are the things that you can say that led to conflicts for violence within us in this country? And we know ourselves to be our brother's keepers from time immemorial.
Yeah, thank you. There are a series of things. It's hidden under the volcanic mountain. When it gets heated up, it erupts and throw out lavas. And when lavas come out, they take everything on their way.
That is
what Nigeria.
Those of us who are not geographers, how do we understand what
it's like a heat under the ground, and when it boils in there, it finds its way out. And when it comes out like fire. And anything it sees on the way, it burns it. And these are some of those things that are under generating challenges. We are beginning to see the spewing out of this fire in the various type of challenges and violence we have. One of those things under the ground sometimes is perceived injustice. 2, collective unhealed memory. 3, these unhealed memories transferred in negative narratives, generating a generation that did not partake, but now are actors in the current challenges we are having. A generation of our set who have seen the violence of the past are now sending these negative narratives to our children. That's why a child that do not know what happened during the Civil War is now taking arms to create a niche for people. And those who did not know what happened are also beginning to drum what we call beating the drum of war. And that's why the country is like that. Some people say issues of governance need to be addressed. Some people are saying uneven development need to be addressed. There are various narratives, and when these narratives gets to religious people, and whatever the religious person says, it is carried as a message from the Almighty. So you have ethnic dichotomy translated into religious and then propagated on the pulpits. And once it comes out like that, people take it without reasoning. And so, those narratives that we see and call it injustice, everybody in this country feel that he is marginalized, including at home, domestically. So if we are able to manage that at the home, Nigeria is one big home that we need to look at those things. So government will have her part, the communities will have her part, and the community initiative to promote peace that we are even doing all around, under this, some support from USAID and others, are saying communities come together and hold your destiny in your hands and work with it. So these are some of the things that are generating these challenges. South, north, people are saying go, some are saying come. Where you are strong there, you are weak there. And so if there is no north-south dialogue from the people, there are representatives of the people who are speaking for the people, but now they are not speaking for themselves. The people might not give them the mandate. They only have the space to talk. And when they talk, they say, my people. But go to the people themselves. They don't represent them.
I think I like that. Let me listen from Imam too before I make my comments.
Well, I think he have just said it clearly. One important thing is there's a lot of unhealed memory. We have wounded ourselves in one way or the other. Some people have caused pains to groups, either at individual level, and that's why you see the family disintegration today compared with the family in around 30, 40 years ago, what the family used to be and what it is today at the family level. Then you see it at tribal level. You can see the challenges, intra-tribal conflict. I can see there's no single tribe in Nigeria today that is consolidated, unified, without pain from the left to the right within the ethnic nationalities. We carry pains along within intra, and that informs the inter. But what we are saying is that how do we break away from this circle of violence? The circle of unhealed memory, unhealed wounds, either in the issue of governance, those who have governed us yesterday, or those who are still governing us today, or on the issue of history of what has happened in the past, either politically, religiously, economically, or socially, that has happened in the past. And what is the template for us to get out of this circle? And I'm feeling there's no better template. So many countries have evolved different things for them to get out of this circle, for them to break the circle of violence.
We will get there. We just want to look at how did we get here first. Yeah. Is it like Pastor said, which I want to relate an experience with a military man. He said, when in a particular barracks, they used to send 6 soldiers to go and man one manhole. Every day they must put 6 soldiers to go and man manhole. He said he now began to ask, what are they manning in manhole? And they have been doing that for more than 16 years. He said he now said, where is the file that started this thing? He now got the file. And that started was that when they were constructing that thing newly, the first time they did it, animal came because it was in the bush. Animals came, they marched on it and they spoiled it. So the second day they now say some soldiers should go and man it pending the time that the concrete will be dry. And before the concrete got dry, they transfer the head of that military barracks. So the next one that came, they continue sending people to that place. The one came, they continue sending. Now say, how can we begin to send people to this place? So when now God did not discover that it was just a temporary thing, and violence or problem in your heart is just like that. You inherit something that you don't know why it's been done, how it's been done, what are the aim of it, that why they are doing it. You just see that this man is not a good man. It's not that he has done anything bad to you. You just heard of it. They say. And I had one serious experience about life, about people being angry towards other. It was a personal experience. I had a problem in a particular place where only those know that we know. And we are in a front office. He said, all of you should not be like somebody they call Fuado. 3 of us were sitting down. those who know, who are witnessing that thing will say this one. Say, don't be like one man called Fuado. He's an imam of so. He's so arrogant. He's so full of himself. He was just abusing me, not knowing that I was actually the one he was talking about. When one of our friends was using style to stop her, but she didn't get what the man was saying. So at the end of the day, one of our friends now said, among all of us that are seated here, whom do you think that fits the description you have just said? She said, no, you are a big person, you are good people. Say, this is man we are talking about. Say, have you met him before? She said, no. Have you go to where he used to operate? She said, no. Said, but that's just what I was just hearing. And since that day, I now know what you are saying is correct. Absolutely. If you listen to anybody, even if it's your mother about anything, wallahi, you have destroyed yourself. Pastor, despite these challenges, but I think we have things like this too, nationally. You have mentioned it, we have it. Some people believe, let me link this into corruption now. Some people have stolen people's money. And other people are watching. And today, nothing is happening to them. That is because they have the opportunity and it's their people. So they also want their own people to be there so that they'll be able to have access to steal. I think you have used a better language. How do we cut this cycle of corruption? Because it is being implanted in everybody's brain now that we need to get that opportunity to go and steal.
Not, as you say, everybody. Religious leaders inclusive.
That's why I said everybody.
You see, the issue of corruption, I just pray that God EFCC, that sees the heart of men and women as they participate in this thing, will do the arrest. People can get away with it. You see, this thing of the national cake, where everybody wants to send his representative, when my people know I'm a thief, yet they cover me because I come from them. When we begin to change that value and come back to the true value that we stand accountable to a creator, then this thing will begin to change. Except we as religious leaders take it upon ourselves to begin to checkmate it, practice it, talk about details of these little things. Something even in the place of worship, you do certain things and you still ask this same God to come down to your standard. When you do evils that are not his standard, God will not do that. And that's where we are having this problem. Grabbing and not knowing it's enough. Imam Al-Shafa will say, people are so greedy that they don't know when enough is enough. They will accumulate resources that the fifth generation cannot even use.
They don't even need.
They don't need. So when your needs, you are looking at not needs, you are going to want and then flamboyant lifestyle. Which Nigeria celebrate? You have this car, you have this big house, you have this wife, you have this farm, you have all. It's all about grabbing and not letting go. So that is the genesis of this call for unforgiveness among our people.
I know
so competing for that. So for me, what you have shared, your story resonates with most of us. And I think except we go back into ourselves and begin to fight our own souls. Like in Islam, you say jihad of the nafs.
Yes.
Personal jihad. Conquer yourself first.
Sheikh Pastor James.
I'm working at that. They are teaching me.
Sheikh Pastor James. That's good.
I have experienced that.
I know.
I used to say to people who care, maybe you are watching for the first time, Imam and I used to be bitter enemies. I lost this hand, which you can see is artificial, in some of the efforts because I did not forgive. And I went to do certain activities in my then perceived area of saying I am fighting to protect the church from perceived aggressors, which at that time I was thinking Imam was that person. And you see Imam in those days, he looks so terrible and you feel him that this is a blood-sucking Al-Qaeda. Then we didn't know Al-Qaeda then. Blood-sucking fundamentalists, we use words like that.
Yes, fundamentalists.
But when you come close to him, you know he's having a pure soul. A soul of giving, a soul of commitment. So until we remove those stereotypes, we cannot get where you are thinking we should get, sir.
Imam, you want to add?
Yes, just to add one important thing, that is when you talk of the materialistic life that keep the circle, it is the materialistic tendency we have that keep the circle of corruption continue. And we can see that even in our household, in our small schools, not on the politician, even in our exams, how parents pay for people to sit for their children's exams. These are the level of corruption you can see. When the child comes, I always remember the story of the teacher whose principal tell him, we need this ID card for all the students. ID card should be just 200 naira. And when the principal come out, when the teacher come out of the principal office, he tell his student, go and tell your parent this ID card is 300 naira. He had 100 naira. And when the child get back home, he tell his mother, mommy, school say we should buy ID card, but the ID card is 400 naira. So when the mother is talking to the father, the child is not there. He say, you know, my son, they say the young daddy should buy ID card, but the ID card is 500 naira.
Really?
And the real money they are paying for the ID card is 100 naira per card. So the principal turn it to 200 naira. Then the teacher turn it to 300 naira. 300 naira from student to 400, 400 to 500 naira. So the corruption level is not just on the top there, even at lower level. And that's why when as a young child, I'm the son of an imam, I know that our parents, in that particular when we are children, if you are bringing a gift to the mosque, very often when you are becoming abnormal, you just bring, suddenly you become rich. The mosque reject you. Say, how do you come about this? Come, where do you get this from? I remember somebody bringing gift and my daddy was asking him. Then it was cloth, just this. And the father said, hey, where do you get this from? How do you get to do this? I know what you are doing in your business. If you have this money, where do you get it from? You can't give this as a gift to us. Please take it back from where you get it from. Say, somebody give it to me. If it's a gift, they give it to you. Then your mother need it more than we need it. Take it back to give it to those who needed it most. So the question in the past is, we question people how they suddenly become millionaires. We question authority of how they offer gift and they give the offering. So that's why qualitative values is the springboard for measuring what is right or what is wrong. But today is quantitative value we develop. How much, how well, how much you are, not how well are you be able to live your life. I think this is just in addition to that to say that most of these issues not there. And one important people forgot is that there's nothing like you have your way. If you are not caught. If you are not caught here, you will be caught there. If you are not caught here, Allah has made it very clear to us that we are going to be caught over there. These are teaching in both Quran and the Bible. The Bible and the Quran has told us very clearly that whatever we do here, we are going to be caught. There is a judgment. And that judgment is real. People may feel it's long, it's not closer, or it's not, I have eaten it up. Because those things you gather, the prophet have told us one day when they asked him, who is the poorest of the poor in your community? Who do you think is the poorest person? Poverty reading. And the people say somebody without money. But the prophet says it's not somebody without money. Who is he? Is that particular person, he or she, that have gone so many good work? He fasted, he prayed, he put all the good work, he did everything, and he has so much reward. And on the day of judgment, he stands before God. And God say, hey, you are going to paradise. Say, come, you have some debit, to be clear. And they start paying the debt he owed people. This one he betrayed him, this one he take his right, this one he take this. And they pay with all the resources he had, the good value he has, and it ends, and there's nothing more. Then they start putting the debt from the debtor of the other person, transferring into his own abode, and he end up the poorest of the poor going to hell. So today, if you are taking people's money, before you get to forgiveness, which you are going to forgiveness, there is issue of restitution. You need to restore those stolen property to whom those you have taken it. Whatever, even if it is a pencil that doesn't belong to you, you have to account for it. And people have forgotten this. They just think it's just a moral thing for children. It's for all of us. And we're getting through that.
Whatever you steal, you take from people, you must restore it.
You must restore it before you die. If not, you are selling your earthly sojourn, your celestial home. You are mitigating it for a time frame materialistic tendency, which my brother will tell you.
I was told of one leader. He's a leader, a Christian leader in this country. He wrote exam WAEC for somebody when he was young. But at a point, when he became a true Christian, he went to WAEC and said, look, I'm guilty. This is what I did for that person. Please, you can imprison me. You can pass the judgment. That's restitution. But looking at his remorse tendency, he was forgiven. And I think it is time that to deal with corruption, which is about forgiveness, that WAEC now forgave him because he did restitution. We need to begin to get to that step before we
discuss more on this, because this is becoming very, very fundamental. But don't go away. We'll go on a very short break now. But don't go away. We'll be back.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Yeah, welcome back. The topic we are discussing is achieving forgiveness. We have discussed so many things about what leads to forgiveness. But despite all these things now, we continue to be having the negative narratives. We might actually not get there. We can be psychologically depressed. What can we now do to heal this nation? Or what are things that can heal or mitigate this crisis which you have been able to highlight?
Sir, we have an example of the governor of Plateau State who came here on air, and I believe those who are regular viewers of this program will have seen what he said. He said, first of all, he apologized for the forgiveness of himself. Then on the military and all those who lost their lives, he said, please forgive us. Now, a leader coming to say that will do a big thing in the state. And now, public holiday has been declared. Every 7th of February is Forgiveness Day. I will have an example. We were discussing this matter of the governor of Plateau State who, first of all, apologized to his people. Going to that level, and he did it with passion. I wish you have a clip
Of that.
of that. And further to it, Imam will say there are nations that have shown us example. Apology was declared in
Australia.
on Australia, where the
Aborigines.
Yes, against the Aborigines. We have done you wrong. We have changed your race. Please forgive us. And there was cry all over. It happened also, Imam will say, in Canada, where they also apologized to the Aborigines. It has happened now in Nigeria. It also happened in which state again?
In Kenya.
We did apology between the people of the Kikuyus and the Kalenjis in Bond Forest. The film is there. It's called An African Answer. Anybody can Google and find out. They cried and forgive one another. And since they did that, for the past 6-7 years now, there is no more killing. It stopped. We attempted with Imam, and when I was asked to go and talk to our Igbos in Aba, I apologize on the civil war. My father fought the civil war. I say on behalf of my father who fought in the civil war, and we did not understand each other, we killed. Please forgive us. That you could feel a pin drop in that hall, and there was crying. People came and hugged and said, nobody ever said this to us. And the one person said, we too, on behalf of our people, what we have done, we are sorry. Now, if this is scaled up, sir, if you bring these leaders here to really apologize, if the president of this country, with every sense of humility, Mr. President, people who are feeling hot, and you now apologize, nobody in this country will not do it. The Bible says, Solomon, you ask me, you want me to protect your country, I want me to heal you, I want me to do. He said, if only you, Solomon, will hearken to my words and do my bidding, all your prayer requests, I will grant you, because you, the leader, has led and say, we have apologized, we have forgiven, we have turned out from our wickedness and want to do it. And we, the followers, will support and will say amen. We look forward to that. And all the states, if that can be done, if leaders of the North and South can really sit for the people, not for themselves, not because they want to gain one appointment or other, but they do it for the people truly. Sir, I assure you, Nigerians are a forgiving people.
Yes.
Nigerians can let go.
Yes.
Our issues of herders and farmers, whatever they call it, if people can truly apologize and come together, sir, Nigeria will begin to experience genuine reconciliation and forgiveness. My colleague is always better at saying that.
No, you have just said it as it is. One thing I'm just saying is that when you say the Bible say, the Bible, and you give example to Solomon, whom we call Nabi Suleiman.
Okay.
One important thing we need to know that is very, very clear is that the concept of forgiveness in Islam is an attribute of the divine. Forgiveness, God is symbol of forgiveness. He is the source of forgiveness. That's why one of his name is Al-Ghaffar, who is symbol of forgiveness. And for us as Muslims, one of the key important thing is that if you have a problem with your brother, if you don't resolve it, even you go to Hajj.
No, Hajj is too far. Even to perform salat.
If you perform prayer,
For 3 nights, yes.
after 3 days you need to forgive, your prayer is null and void.
Then I know I will be provoking you so that you can forgive me quickly.
And that shows to us as Muslim and Christian, forgiveness is an attitude and a behavior that every child of Abraham must possess. Forgiveness is an attitude and a behavior we have to possess. And in every household, what we are saying is that to break this up, some people have set what we call truth and reconciliation, as the case in South Africa. Well, in Rwanda, there's sort of truth, justice, and reconciliation. But what we are saying is that the issue of truth and forgiveness and reconciliation. So it will be a Nigerian model. Can we look into our brothers' eyes to see for 50 years there is a spirit of unforgiveness going on as what happened between us as brothers and sisters in this country? From 1970, from when we end the war to date, we know what has gone wrong. Can we wake up today, our brothers, our elder brothers who have been part of that war, to wake up as a leader and tell us, we are sorry on behalf of that institution that has been used in order to create this template. For as a nation, the day, even as a family, the day the spirit of forgiveness become the core of our funding of our family. Because somebody was telling me, I was say, look, in the family dispute, you can marry a demon, and still live happily with that demon. When we know the weaknesses of one another, we'll be able to succeed. And that's why for me, to succeed as a family, I remember the word of Rumi. Rumi is a Muslim Sufi saint who says, between what is right and what is wrong, there's an open garden. Between right and wrong, there's an open garden. Can we meet there? Meaning, we should live not on the point of saying, identifying what was wrong or what was right. You are right, I'm wrong, or I'm wrong, you are right. Let's look at the open space where we have our common concern, and together we address that common concern that affects all of us as Nigerians. And that is what we are looking for. A day of forgiveness in Nigeria, a day our political leaders will stand up to own the process as the governor of Plateau State has did. The day our religious leaders will own the process and say, I have driven you wrong. On my behalf, on behalf of our religious institutions within this community, we have politically driven you wrong. The day our kings and chiefs will stand up to say, we have wrong in the name of our tribe, in the name of our culture, some people have done something wrong to the innocent people in our community, we are sorry. The day our parent will stand up for the family, the head of the family, and say, as the head of the family, I know I've wronged some of you, or the institution of the family have wronged you, we are sorry. The day we learn to say we are sorry to one another, the day our nation is turning a new leaf, then we become like Switzerland. 700 years ago, Swiss, they are more military expedition, and they are more used in military expedition. But when they realize that they set up against each other, each Swiss is killing the other Swiss in the name of royal, hired military, higher royal security guard. One brother against the other brother, they say from today it has come to an end. And from that moment they hold a bond, 700 years. And today, Switzerland is one of the most secure nations of the world.
That's why people are taking their money in there.
And people
because
take
it's
their
secure.
Exactly.
That's the reason.
That's true, sir.
Exactly.
That's why people
That's true.
If you want, when the people are keep taking their money, just go to Switzerland.
Yes, sir. And sir, just a quick one.
Okay.
The Bible in Hebrew chapter 12 verse 15.
Okay.
Say, do not allow the root of bitterness that you have grow in you and become rooted, and thereby making many come short of the glory of God. My personal bitterness, I transfer to you. I did not process it. Then you will take it and run with it and transfer it to another person. Then that root of bitterness will pollute the nation. Once it pollutes the nation, it makes many to come short of the glory of God. Meaning, one will not go to heaven. You have to pursue peace with holiness. Then the other one is remove your bitterness. So for me, the appeal to Nigerians listening is going beyond just saying it. Let me first forgive myself, then forgive others, and let go the pains, transfer it. And then once we do that, sir, Nigeria will be on. And I just don't want the Abrahamic mission here to end in the studio. I want to see you, sir, and other like-minded people being in the vanguard of going to the south. Let the camera follow us to the south. Let's preach what we say in the studio to the people, and then let's go to the east, southeast, southwest, and let's go to the north, and let them see us together, saying, please forgive. Beyond the studio, I know the studio is there. They think we are in the comfort of. Let's go to the field and preach this thing. This is for me more pragmatic. I challenge you, sir.
And I challenge fellow Nigerians
thank
who
God.
believe in Nigeria
Okay,
to be willing to say
I thought you still want to challenge me.
We are challenging fellow Nigerians who believe in the Nigerianness to support these initiatives, to say a forgiveness arcade. Mobility for forgiveness, transfer from one community to another community across the country, the 6th geopolitical zone. We want to see our religious.
No, I think this one we will challenge. We'll challenge one person here. We'll challenge the Minister of Interior, Minister of Internal Affairs, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, who I know is passionate with things like this.
Exactly.
Those who know him should also tell him. We will not look for him. He should come and look for us, because we need this to secure the future of our nation.
Very well said.
We just need it. Those who know him, they should go and tell him that he should look for us. Let's see what we can do to start the train of forgiveness.
Because in those days, what holds us together is that, do you remember our old national anthem? It said, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand.
Okay.
And that spirit of brotherhood is the missing link that we need to
before we continue,
yes,
Pastor has raised something which he highlighted from what you say. I want us to actually highlight those areas. He said when somebody is angry with somebody, if for 3 nights it does not go, that person, whenever he prays, whatever he does, has no reward.
Exactly.
And the pastor also said that in Hebrew, that if your bitterness allows you allow it to grow inside you, you cannot get the glory of God.
Exactly.
I know that's the way.
You affect others by it. I tell my wife, my son, my wife tell my children that your father is like that, and she has transferred her anger to them, and they begin to hate me. Then and say so do not allow the sunset on your anger. If you don't go to bed, the sunset on your anger.
So you see that one also affects family life.
Yes, that's why he take it from the Quran now. You know, it's the Quranic teaching.
No, that's Bible, Imam.
I like that.
It is in the Quran. If you are angry with somebody and you go to pray, your prayer is null and void. If you cannot reconcile with your brother, that is the Quran.
See, so the sun should not go down on your anger.
Yes, I agree. Go ahead. I don't mind.
That is the Bible. That is the Bible, Imam. Wallahi, I think this my Imam is stealing the Bible.
No, he's copying from the Bible.
I'm not copying the Bible, but the Bible is copying, because why? Our brothers, fellow imams, fellow pastors, they are refusing to teach this message.
Yes.
And that's why it seems strange. Now you can say Muslims have unforgiving spirit.
In fact, that's what I want to go. What we used to hear is that Muslims don't forgive.
Yes.
And they are preaching this. How is this one related?
How does he forgive me?
So, have you forgiven him?
If Muslims are unforgiving, I wouldn't have reconciled with Pastor James. Because
that one is lost. I want to
teacher.
say now, what
Yes.
we used to know is that Muslims, their heart things, they don't forgive at all.
But their scripture teach them the spirit of forgiveness, the concept of forgiveness, the culture of forgiveness. They have to embrace it. So when you find a Muslim who say, I don't forgive, then and then he has a problem with him. He has not been processed by the true spirit of Islam. He's not an embodiment of what Islam teaches us to do. But very often, there are stereotypes and prejudices we have. The Quran teaches us to say that even at the point of death, if somebody kill your brother, he said there's a law for an eye for an eye, a soul for a soul. If you kill, you kill. Then there's a law of paying compensation.
Okay.
You can still pay compensation, blood money, to the family of those person you kill. And the Quran says, but the best of it all is when you choose to forgive. And we have seen cases where primary victim, people have killed some people's family, and because of those virtues, and in the teaching of the Quran to say, you can let go and forgive the person that hurt you. And many Muslims chooses to say, we have forgiven that who killed our brother. We don't even need the blood money, which is about how much today? Over 90 million. Over 90 million naira per a soul. If you kill him deliberately or unintentionally, you still pay that blood money of over 90 million.
90 million naira, minimally.
So
now.
minimum. So and you are going to fast for 60 days non-stop. Either you kill him deliberately or unintentionally.
That's
You
penance.
fast for 60 days penance. And if one day you stop fasting,
You start again.
you are going to start from zero. This, and then even you do this, you are not guaranteed of celestial home. You are at the mercy of God. If God look at your heart and feel the sense of you are really the sincere remorsefulness in you, then you may enter his paradise.
So you mean those who say I kill, I shoot you, they are not candidates, and you see, this is the irony of this thing. That is, I have perceived impersonation. When people even kill, let's be practical about this, sir. There are some people that are perceived to belong to the same faith, and they go on either kidnapping or raping or doing, and they kill the person and they shout the name of God and say, God be great, and then they shoot. Now, what is, like, I'm just wondering, because most of my Christian brothers and sisters will always say, some people are killing in the name of
Islam. Let's do that way.
And then for that purpose now, and then Imam is saying that they can, even if
you kill deliberately,
the paradise is not his own. It's also similar to God. Those the Christian principle, you don't kill. Vengeance is the Lord's.
Yes.
And so when you say I'm taking vengeance, that's why forgiveness is better. Let me paraphrase one thing that this man has said in Islam. Maybe, pardon me those who see me saying this. When they say you are at justice, to equal justice to what you have been done to you, do to the people. For instance, if now, by so to say, my hand is chopped off by somebody, and I need to chop off his hand. Now, if I put that hand that I chop off on the scale, and then put his own on the scale, if he does not weigh equal, then there is injustice. That's probably, I think, the Prophet says, he says, forgive, rather is better to forgive. Then the Bible says you can sack your wife on infidelity, but don't marry after that. It means whatever is the case, you have to forgive. Now, people will say, okay, if you don't marry, if you marry, you commit adultery. Now, the Bible is teaching us that, okay, if you cannot forgive her, then stay solo. Or if you cannot forgive him, stay solo until the person dies. But rather, what is the best? Forgive and continue your life. So, these books have taught us that the best way to do
is forgiveness. You say something?
Yes, just to say is always there's something to say. And very important is that it is time for our religious leaders to reverse back, to start promoting the culture and the value, these three principles of absolute honesty. 4 principles: absolute honesty, absolute purity, absolute unselfishness, and unconditional love. Unconditional love. When we decided to, if you have this, it leads you to, let's say, forgiveness. Because in forgiveness is a strong antidepressant. Forgiveness is a strong anti-what?
Antidepressant.
Antidepressant.
Okay.
Forgiveness is the
I think I will add one more, which you have said, which have been mentioned, is justice.
Oh yes.
Justice. Give people their right when it is due, without them demanding for it. The moment you do this, be rest assured, all these things will also cool
It was
down.
because of greed of some of our weaknesses. Greed at every level of our society, because of selfishness, because the pendulum of measuring what is right or wrong have shifted from integrity, dignity, truth, honesty, purity, unselfishness. It has migrated from that to materialism.
Yeah, Imam,
And that is where we are today.
based on that,
But we are getting out by the spirit of forgiveness.
by God's grace, we will get out of it. We want to thank you, since we know it's not easy for you even coming here today. I know what it is. You like on the transit, like the way I used to describe Sultan His Eminence. You people are following to become
The
nomadic people. I always pity those who are at home, who are waiting. I pray that God in His infinite mercy will continue to bless you, to support you, to guide, to protect, and to be with you all the time. On behalf of all of us, all people that is watching, we want to thank you for being there, and we thank you for coming. Bishop, Pastor, thank you once again for coming, and Imam, we appreciate you. Until when we meet next time, same station, same time. Do not forget, the repeat program is on Sunday by 5 p.m. Until when we meet next time, my name is Imam Fuad Adeyemi, saying bye-bye.